the crisis in Ukraine continues. More sanctions placed on Russia, and President Vladimir Putin threatens nuclear aggression.
Also, police continue to investigate after a bomb threat puts 2 Madison schools on high alert.
And after months of waiting, tomorrow Dane County's mask mandate finally comes to an end. You're watching News 3 Now at 5. As we reach day 5 of the Russian invasion of Ukraine, the first round of peace talks between the two nations seem to have landed nowhere, yet leaders on both sides have agreed to keep talking.
Meanwhile, Ukraine's President Zelensky is moving to solidify his ties to the West by applying to join the European Union, something unlikely to sit well with Russian President Putin, who has long accused the U.S. of trying to pull Ukraine out of Russia's orbit.
Russia has put its nuclear force on high alert after what Russian President Putin is calling aggressive statements from the U.S. We spoke with Andrew Kidd on our Live at 4 newscast about the conflict. He is a political science professor at UW-Madison and an expert on international relations.
So he's trying to generate a climate of fear, trying to generate fear on the part of the NATO countries that he might actually be crazy enough to escalate to the nuclear level rather than lose this war, even though he knows, of course, everyone would know that that could easily lead to NATO nuclear retaliation on Russia, possibly even on himself personally.
Sanctions that the U.S. and its Western allies have placed on Russia are already taking a toll.
And the European Union is adding over 24 more sanctions to that list. Emily Schmidt has the latest.
It took this Ukrainian disaster to spark a world diplomacy not seen for 40 years.
The fighting in Ukraine must stop.
The UN General Assembly held an emergency meeting for the first time since 1982, condemning Russia's attacks and supporting Ukraine's sovereignty, calling for peace.
For the first time since the United Nations was born, there is a full-fledged war in the center of Europe.
War images emerged from all over the country. Attacks that appeared to be on a section of Kharkiv. Outside Kyiv, signs of losses for Russia. Ukrainians fighting, inspired by their president's rallying call.
He is our president, he is our leader, he is leader of the armed forces of Ukraine.
More fallout. Moscow's stock exchange closed Monday when economic sanctions caused the ruble to lose nearly a third of its value. Russia closed its airspace to airlines from 36 countries, and Ukraine and Russia held talks in Belarus amid fears troops from Belarus could support Russia. So much remarkable movement, including this. The UN now estimates more than 500,000 people have fled Ukraine, seeking safety, with their homeland very much still in danger. I'm Emily Schmidt reporting.
A senior U.S. defense official tells reporters the U.S. has not seen anything specific since Putin's nuclear threat.
As the Russian invasion of Ukraine stretches into a 5th day, the United Nations estimates more than 500,000 people have already fled to safety. Many of those leaving Ukraine are going to Poland. They're packing onto trains with only the possessions they can carry in the world. World-renowned chef and humanitarian Jose André has brought his world central kitchen to the Polish border. They're serving thousands of hot meals at several crossings in Poland and Romania.
People don't stop arriving. People are cold, families are cold. There's many ways to fight. Some people fight just making sure that people are fed.
Those who have made it out are hearing that it's getting more difficult to leave. The European Union is preparing to grant Ukrainians who flee the war the right to stay and work for up to 3 years.
Greece joined a number of European Union nations in closing its airspace to all Russian aircraft. Other countries in Europe and Canada made the same unprecedented move yesterday. Germany, Spain, and France joined Britain, the Nordics, and Baltic states in declaring bans on Russian use of their airspace. The United States considering similar action, but has yet to make a final decision. Now, there's a lot going on in Ukraine right now. New information comes in constantly. It's updated in a special section at our website, channel3000.com. You can find that section right on the homepage. Just scroll down to Crisis in Ukraine. You'll find a page with information on how you can also help the people of Ukraine. All right, let's get a look at your certified most accurate forecast now. Chief Meteorologist Gary Canalti out on the weather patio. Pretty nice day out there today, Gary.
Yeah, mild. Last day of February, temperatures in the 40s for the most part across southern Wisconsin. Let's start out by taking a look at visible cloud track. got some high clouds coming in from the west, and eventually those clouds will thicken up a bit tonight, but that'll just keep the temperatures up. You can see there's no precipitation across southern Wisconsin, just some light snow across parts of upper Michigan and far northern lower Michigan. Low temperatures this morning started out in the upper teens to the lower 20s, a little bit above average for this time of year, and high temperatures so far have been in the upper 40s through much of southern Wisconsin, middle 40s north of Dane County, and right now temperatures are still well into the 40s over most of southern Wisconsin. By tomorrow morning, we'll only drop to around freezing or just a little bit below that as skies cloud up. Tomorrow will be variably cloudy and mild again with a high temperature of around 43 degrees. How long will this mild weather last? I'll take a look at that in the forecast in just a few minutes.
All right, Gary, thank you. 2 Madison schools were evacuated for more than 2 hours today after reports of a detailed bomb threat. Students and staff at Madison Memorial High School and Jefferson Middle School evacuated their buildings just before 11 this morning. Police searched the schools with canine units but didn't find anything suspicious. Students were cleared to return to classes just before 1:30 this afternoon.
A Madison man charged with killing his sister on Christmas Eve in 2019 has now been sentenced to 40 years in institutional care. Joseph Green had originally been charged with first-degree intentional homicide in the death of 63-year-old Sheila Green. According to a criminal complaint, Green shot his sister, then went back to his apartment, threw the gun in the trash, and called 911.
Obviously, Mr. Green has struggled with his mental health for many years now, and his present mental condition, as I can see, suggests that institutional care is appropriate.
Court records show he entered a plea of not guilty by reason of mental disease or defect to a second-degree intentional homicide charge earlier this year. Tomorrow is a day people in Dane County have been waiting for when they can finally take off their masks.
For the first time since August, the mask mandate will officially expire March 1st. Health leaders say we're in a good place because case numbers and hospitalizations are declining. Brady Mallory is here with a look at what to expect. Brady?
Well, we made it through several mask mandate extensions and this winter's Omicron surge. And now with a new month, we mark a new phase of the pandemic. Losing the masks could be a big relief for people and businesses in the county. The current 7-day average is about 105 cases per day. That's less than 10% of peak levels from the Omicron surge. The big question is this the end of masks for good? That's hard for health leaders to definitively answer because, as we've learned, COVID is predictably unpredictable.
As much as we were fairly confident in the fact that these numbers were consistently falling, and we waited to see that data was stable before making any decisions. But certainly we're always ready to shift and to pivot if we need to.
PHMDC is encouraging parents to check with school districts about their mask requirements before school tomorrow. As for businesses, now it's up to them to make their own masking policies going forward.
Brady, thank you. And as COVID cases continue to drop, several states are also updating their mask guidance. Elise Preston has more from New York.
It's a turning point in the pandemic. New York State is set to end its school mask mandate on Wednesday. In New York City, officials plan to follow suit next Monday as long as COVID numbers continue to fall.
I love it. It's about time.
I am very upset about it because my daughter has an underlying condition.
The city also announced it intends to lift vaccine requirements for restaurants, gyms, and other indoor places next week.
My cashiers always ask, and I feel like it's going to be more customers going to come in.
New York City is holding off on making a final decision until Friday as it continues to monitor the COVID situation. Nationwide, new daily infections are down 96% from last month on average. Hospitalizations have fallen by 70%. On Friday, the CDC changed the way it determines a community's risk level of severe COVID. Under the new guidelines, more than 70% of Americans no longer have to wear a mask indoors.
It's looking at day-to-day, what are your cases in the community, how many people are in the hospital, what's the hospital bed capacity.
Massachusetts dropped its school mask mandate Monday, and Illinois ended its mask mandate in most public spaces. But some Chicago public school parents are demanding the masking continues.
A lot of people are hoping this is over, and I'm here to tell you it's not. We are still living in a pandemic.
And on Capitol Hill, masks will be optional for Tuesday's State of the Union address. Another sign of life returning a bit more to normal. Elise Preston, CBS News, New York.
This afternoon, California, Oregon, and Washington announced they will adopt the new indoor mask policies starting March 12th, moving from mask requirements to recommendations in schools. Today, several Wisconsin agencies met for a roundtable discussion on the Lincoln Hills facility and juvenile justice reform. Representatives from the Department of Health, Corrections, as well as a Dane County judge and a local activist gathered on Zoom to talk about dismantling the juvenile delinquency to prison pipeline. Lincoln Hills has long been criticized, but just last week the Assembly passed a bill to fund a brand new center. Much of the conversation was discussing the urgency the state needs to act.
London is calling the Green Bay Packers. The team heads to the UK for one of their games this season. Green Bay will play at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. It's the first time ever the Packers have played in London since the NFL started hosting games there back in 2007. Now, it's also the first time the Packers have ever played a regular season game abroad. The game will be considered a neutral site game, meaning that only 9 games will be played at Lambeau Field in 2022. If you're heading to the Kohl Center tomorrow night, make sure to wear white. The 13th ranked Badger basketball team wants a whiteout against 4th ranked Purdue. The stakes are high. A win would guarantee the Badgers a share of the Big Ten regular season championship. If that happens, Wisconsin would clinch the title outright with a win over Nebraska or an Illinois loss. Tip-off scheduled for 8 p.m. tomorrow on ESPN.
Well, it's never received so much as a public hearing in the state legislature. Nevertheless, a Madison lawmaker is trying once again to get bipartisan support for a suicide prevention bill.
Yeah, 3 states have a law that allows people to ban themselves from buying a gun. As Naomi Coles explains, State Senator Melissa Agard of Madison wants to make Wisconsin the 4th. Naomi?
This bill doesn't take away any guns, and no one can put your name on a do not sell list for you. It simply allows you to stop yourself from being able to buy a gun in the future, and it's designed for those who believe they're at risk of suicide and need a proactive step to stop it. 2 Democrat-led states and 1 Republican-led has the law currently in place, and while it's unlikely to get traction in our legislature, State Senator Melissa Agard says it's still worth the conversation.
After I've put the bill out, I've had people reaching out to me and saying, I only wish that we had this policy here in Wisconsin. I myself would add my name to that list.
A lot of other states have a law that allows people to ban themselves from gambling. That's another example she points to of this kind of system working. The voluntary gun law is newer, started in the state of Washington in 2017 and just in the last couple of years for the other 2 states I mentioned. Tonight at 6 o'clock, I went asking those states just how effective has it been for them.
All right, look forward to that, Naomi. Thank you. And up next at 5, new warnings from top climate officials.
Nearly half of the world's population is highly vulnerable. How world leaders are trying to fight climate change after the break. And later, a new bill could shake up health coverage options in the workplace. Find out how it could save you money coming up at 6.
And mixed results on Wall Street to start the week as the Dow falls more than 166 points, but the NASDAQ adds 57. S&P down 11 at the closing bell, and we'll be right back.
Hey, Lainey, when is the baby coming?
Very, very soon.
Dad, what about yours?
You're gonna, yeah, okay, well.
How much money have you wasted trying to find the right shade of foundation to match your skin tone? You end up with so many unused bottles, yet you can't bear to throw them out. Now, there's Color Beauty Self-Adjusting Foundation, which means you'll never search for the perfect shade again.
It's really difficult for me to find a good tone foundation. I usually purchase about 3 or 4 and sometimes mix them. Color Beauty is a game changer in finding the right foundation. You put it on your skin and it transforms into your own skin tone.
The Color Beauty foundation is so simple to put on. My skin looks great and it just looks awesome.
The key to the innovative Color Beauty formula is tiny color beads that release and blend to perfectly match your skin tone as you apply it. The foundation is white when it comes out of the bottle, but when I begin to apply it, it adjusts to blend perfectly with the color of my skin.
My biggest problem area is my cheeks right here. Color Beauty feels really light on my skin, and I can tell that it is pretty full coverage, so it looks like I don't have too much foundation on, but it is covering all my acne scars like I was saying before. I actually really love it.
It's weightless and it's full coverage.
much, and also it literally just matches my skin as soon as I put it on. It's no work. I've never experienced a foundation like this.
Color Beauty only comes in 2 colors, light and medium. If you have fair skin or you burn easily, go with the light. If you have darker skin, go with the medium. Plus, with an SPF of 50, they're getting the highest level of sun protection in a lightweight formula. And best of all is Color Beauty's exclusive special.
Order Color's Ultimate Beauty Package today and get 40% off. That means you'll get the color adjusting foundation, the skin smoothing primer, and the fan favorite lash enhancer for thicker, longer looking lashes at 40% off. Plus, get free shipping. Visit color40.com or call the number on your screen.
Tonight at 6, 2 Madison schools were evacuated after a detailed bomb threat this morning. We'll share more from the scene.
Plus, a bill could lower Wisconsin's suicide rate and how it matches up to other states. That's coming up tonight at 6.
News 3 Now's Call for Action team advocates for you, asking the right questions.
You hope to make that right.
And getting results.
They sent a water heater the next day after you made the call.
Call for Action, only on News 3 Now.
You're watching News 3 Now at 5.
A UN climate report out today warns we are running out of ways to adapt to climate change.
The grim findings show nearly half of the world's population is now considered highly vulnerable. CBS's Deborah Alfarone at the White House with more details.
A dire warning from the world's leading climate scientists: adapt or suffer.
There is a brief and rapidly closing window to secure a livable future on the planet.
A new UN report finds the risks of climate change are growing, adding to ecological threats like wildfires, heat waves, and rising sea levels, displacing people from their homes and damaging their health. The report says countries have failed to rein in carbon emissions.
This abdication of leadership is criminal. The world's biggest polluters are guilty of arson on our only home.
The UN Secretary General says it's essential for world leaders to meet the goal of limiting global temperature rise by 1.5 degrees Celsius. President Biden entered the White House with the most ambitious climate agenda in U.S. history, but his signature package for it, Build Back Better, has stalled in Congress. And there could be another hurdle for the president. The Supreme Court heard an appeal Monday from 19 mostly Republican-led states and coal companies, challenging the EPA's authority to limit carbon dioxide emissions from power plants.
An EPA can now regulate in ways that cost billions of dollars, affect thousands of businesses, and are designed to address an issue with worldwide effect. This is major policymaking power under any definition.
The outcome of the Supreme Court case could hamstring the Biden administration's efforts to fight climate change in the U.S. Deborah Alfarone, CBS News, the White House.
The High Court agreed to hear the case, even though the EPA currently has no plans to deal with carbon output from power plants. A decision is expected in June. All right, let's get a look at your certified most accurate weather. Chief Meteorologist Gary Canalti with a forecast. Gary?
Well, we're getting ready to go into March. February is ending out on a mild note, but taking a look at what we can normally expect in March, the average high temperature for the first day of March is 36. By the end of the month, we're up to 50, and the nighttime low temperatures on average increased by about 10 degrees. We've been as warm as 83 degrees back on the 21st of March back in 2012. That was that year that we had a number of 80-degree days in the middle of the month. But you can see we've been almost as cold as 30 below zero starting the month back in 1962. Precipitation on average about 2.2 inches and about 7 inches of snow, but we are below normal on snowfall. High temperatures over the next 7 days, up and down again. 40s, then down to the 30s, then back to the 40s, then down to the 30s again. And the Climate Prediction Center outlooks for the month of March just issued today show below normal temperatures expected in the northwestern part of the country, above normal temperatures in the southeastern part of the country. Usually that sets up the storm track in between, which puts it right over Madison. And as you can see, precipitation is expected to be above normal through our part of the Midwest. So hopefully that will help the drought, but we don't want too much in the form of snow, and we don't want too much in the form of rain, especially when the ground is still cold, because a lot of that will run off and increase the flooding potential. The outlook for meteorological spring in the months of March, April, and May, calling for above normal temperatures for much of the country except for the far northwestern part of the nation, and still above normal precipitation just to our south and east. The drought, unfortunately, probably going to get worse with below normal precipitation expected in the southwestern part of the country. 3 things you need to know in the forecast. We'll look for mild weather for tomorrow and for Wednesday, then see a brief drop in temperatures for Thursday. Not quite as cold on Friday with temperatures near normal, and then we see some showers from Friday night into Saturday. Now, we could see a mix of precipitation Friday night, and Saturday could be to the point where we could even see a couple of spring-like thunderstorms. But right now on Doppler track, you can see our part of the state quiet, even though clouds are starting to move in. Some snow up in the northern portion of the Midwest, but right now things are pretty quiet. But you can see that temperature trend that we've seen for so much of the winter. Mild conditions out to the south and west where there's been little or no snow cover. Colder than normal temperature, or cold temperatures to the north and east where there's more widespread snow cover. We're kind of in between. That mild air has kind of poked in here a little bit, but the colder air is lurking just to the north, and we're going to be kind of on the dividing line for the next couple of days. But compared to 24 hours ago, the trend has been up because our winds have been more out of the west and southwest. So temperatures have gone up over the last 24 hours, at least here in Madison, by 7 degrees. And as you can see on weather track, that jet stream right in between, taking the clouds in from the northwest, but not bringing a lot of precipitation because there's not, the storms are not getting close to the Gulf of Mexico. So for tomorrow, variably cloudy skies, continued mild, high temperature at 43, and then we're up to 47 on Wednesday. There could be a couple of flurries or maybe a little patchy freezing drizzle early on Wednesday morning. A couple of flurries as we turn colder on Thursday. Friday will be mainly dry, but then that mix of precipitation on Friday night, maybe changing to rain, some thunderstorms on Saturday, and a chance of snow from Sunday night into Monday morning. After that, look for near normal temperatures for the end of next week. As we check out first warn traffic right now, things are looking pretty good on the Beltline. There's the view from the DOT camera at Stoughton Road and the Beltline. Right now, just seeing some minor delays eastbound on the Beltline right around Monona Drive. Otherwise, travel times pretty normal on the Beltline, either direction between University Avenue and the interstate. Heading out of Madison, 25 minutes from the Beltline to Janesville on I-3990. A quick 16 minutes from Middleton to Sauk City on US 12. And then from downtown to Sun Prairie, East Washington Avenue and US 151 will take you 18 minutes. That's your News 3 Now First Warn traffic.
Thank you, Gary. Just ahead, many children are watching the war in Ukraine. How doctors say you can help them process it all. Coming up next at 5.
Now First Warn Weather is brought to you by Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor.
Discover a shopping and design experience as comfortable as the furniture. Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor. Schedule your free design consultation today.
We're USA Insulation, and our premium injection foam turns your cold and drafty house into a warm and toasty home. Call now and save $500 on whole home insulation.
USA Insulation.
Guys, if you're suffering from erectile dysfunction, Peak Performance for Men has a natural solution that can help you today. That's right. Stop wasting money on pills and inferior technology that hurts and just masks your ED. Fix it for good. The best part? Our ED treatment is non-invasive, painless, and you can get back to your natural functionability after just a few short in-office sessions. Call us today and mention this ad, and your initial consultation is free. We are Madison's trusted specialist and only national erectile dysfunction provider. Call Peak Performance for Men today.
Finding the right ingredients for a healthy lifestyle can be tricky. That's why SSM Health and News 3 Now are here to help.
Our Time for Kids Recipe for Health experts use online conversations and on-air reports to answer your health questions.
So tell us, what topics would your family like to hear about? What questions do you have?
Use the handy feedback form on our Time for Kids page to share what matters most to your family's health. And together,
let's take time for kids.
You're a hard worker. Provide for your family. Do good things in the community. Help out your neighbors. You've been there for so many others. Now, we're here for you. Your local Wisconsin energy and emergency assistance providers are working together to keep you safely in your home and your heat and power on. Apply now for a hand up.
The Burrish Group at UBS provides comprehensive wealth management focused on client service, financial results, and helping clients pursue their goals. Our multi-generational group of financial advisors allows us to relate to all of our clients. Every generation has priorities, and with our experience, we can find the fit that suits your cycle of life. Call us today to start the conversation.
Introducing the City Guide 2022 from the award-winning Madison magazine. Whether you're a Madison local, new to town, or just here for the weekend, the City Guide is a must-have. With insider tips on where to eat, what to do, and places to see. 4 seasons of Madison must-dos. But hurry, the City Guide is only available for a limited time on area newsstands, or you can order a copy online at madisonmagazine.com. The City Guide 2022, get yours today.
We're USA Insulation, and our premium injection foam turns your cold and drafty house into a warm and toasty home. Call now and save $500 on whole home insulation.
USA Insulation.
You're watching News 3 Now at 5.
And welcome back. Kids, of course, may have a lot of questions as the war unfolds in Ukraine.
Mandy Gaither has some tips from the experts on how to talk to your kids about it.
The images are scary for anyone, but the war in Ukraine may cause worry and even fear in small children who see or hear about the unrest. When talking to them, keep it straightforward, says Cleveland Clinic pediatric psychologist Vanessa Jensen.
It's far away, and that's something that grown-ups do. Let the grown-ups take care of this right now. We get to take care of you, and then we'll make sure the adults take care of that. So sometimes you just need to simplify it.
Jensen says kids of any age can be bothered by what they're seeing. The images can show up in nightmares and night terrors. She says it's a good idea to monitor what children see and guard against showing disturbing images to younger children. If a child has seen something upsetting, Jensen says to ask lots of questions to gauge what they know and how they feel.
If you see things or hear things that either you wonder about or that just are kind of scary, let's talk about it. Help them normalize those thoughts. It's okay to feel kind of scared that this is happening in our world.
If a child is feeling unsafe, Jensen says it might help to show them Ukraine on a map so they see the fighting is far away. No matter your child's age, she says all children need extra support and reassurance from their parents right now. For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
Jensen says sometimes doing something helps lessen a child's anxiety. She suggests making a card for someone in the military or praying for the safety of people in Ukraine, sending them warm thoughts and wishing them well.
Stay with us. We'll have a final check of your first warn forecast after a short break.
Big Share, an online day of giving, is March 1st. Advance social and environmental justice by supporting the 70 nonprofit members of Community Shares of Wisconsin. Even a $5 donation can make change happen. Donate now through March 1st at thebigshare.org.
Discovering the perfect paint for your home has never been easier with Zinsser Smart Coat. Plan smart with interactive tools at smartcoat.com. Buy smart, in-store or online for home delivery. And paint smart with this advanced paint and primer in one. Say hello to Zinsser Smart Coat, the next generation of intelligent paint. 11% off at Menards.
Living with metastatic breast cancer means being relentless because every day matters. And having more of them is possible with Verzenio, the only one of its kind proven to help you live significantly longer when taken with fulvestrant, regardless of menopause status.
Verzenio plus fulvestrant is for HR-positive, HER2-negative metastatic breast cancer that has progressed after hormone therapy. Diarrhea is common, may be severe, or cause dehydration or infection. At the first sign, call your doctor, start an antidiarrheal, and drink fluids. Before taking Verzenio, tell your doctor about any fever, chills, or other signs of infection. Verzenio may cause low white blood cell counts, which may cause serious infection that can lead to death. Life-threatening lung inflammation can occur. Tell your doctor about any new or worsening trouble breathing, cough, or chest pain. Serious liver problems can happen. Symptoms include fatigue, appetite loss, stomach pain, and bleeding or bruising. Blood clots that can lead to death have occurred. Tell your doctor if you have pain or swelling in your arms or legs, shortness of breath, chest pain, and rapid breathing or heart rate, or if you are nursing, pregnant, or plan to be.
Every day matters, and I want more of them.
Ask your doctor about everyday Verzenio.
Here at TSR, we transform outdated or damaged basement floors into beautiful, functional, tough floors in just one day. Hi, I'm Joey with TSR Concrete Coatings, and we don't just simply coat over your old floor. We repair all the cracks, apply the base coat and chip, and then seal it with our own proprietary sealant that will never chip or peel. Our coatings are ridiculously easy to clean and will not be damaged by spills or standing water. All of our coatings are covered by our exclusive lifetime warranty, so you can rest assured that your beautiful new basement floor coating will last. And from now until March 15th, we're offering 15% off your basement floor coating. This promotion also applies to any interior commercial coating project. Visit the website or call the number below for your new floor today. TSR, one day floor.
The Big Share in Online Dave Giving is March 1st. Your support helps the 70 nonprofit members of Community Shares of Wisconsin advance social and environmental justice and make change happen. Donate now through March 1st at thebigshare.org.
Let's go back to Gary. Final check of the forecast.
Starting to see some clouds come in across the Madison area, but no precipitation, at least in our part of the state. Things looking very quiet right now. Temperatures are still pretty mild. 45 Madison, 46 Janesville, even up to the north. 39 in Camp Douglas, the coldest temperature around. Over the next 12 hours, look for temperatures to drop off. By morning, we'll be down around freezing.
All right, Gary, thanks. We're back in 30 minutes for News 3 Now at 6. CBS Evening News is next. Stay tuned.